Yes! That right there is why this channel exists.
I also want to salute Bobby's decades of work as an advocate for the health of our families and our children. Nobody's done more. Millions and millions of Americans who want clean air, clean water, and a healthy nation have concerns about toxins in our environment and pesticides in our food. That's why today I'm repeating my pledge to establish a panel of top experts working with Bobby to investigate what is causing the decades-long increase in chronic health problems and childhood diseases, including autoimmune disorders, autism, obesity, infertility, and many more. We want every child in America to grow up and to live a long and healthy life.
And I watch these sick kids, these damaged kids. In that generation, almost all of them are damaged. And nobody in power seemed to care or to even notice. For 19 years, I prayed every morning that God would put me in a position to end this calamity. The chronic disease crisis was one of the primary reasons for my running for president, along with ending censorship in the Ukraine war. But I have the certainty that this is what I've meant to do. And that certainty gives me internal peace, even in storms. If I'm given the chance to fix the chronic disease crisis and reform our food production, I promise that within 2 years, we will watch chronic disease burden lift dramatically.
Yes! That right there is why this channel exists. Guys, they just said the quiet part out loud. If you're not already aware of this health epidemic in this freaking world, in this country, RFK Jr. and Trump just let the cat out of the bag. They just exposed the biggest secret. This is why people like me, people that get into holistic health, this is why we end up being conspiratorial. It's because when you get into health and you find the truth about health, find out the truth of reversing disease, reversing symptoms, you realize, holy crap. It's literally following the status quo, following the normal course of living our daily lives that gets us sick. It's our food supply. It's the medicines we take. It's, our busy, hectic schedules. It's all this stuff. Instead of resting and relaxing when we're supposed to, when we're starting to create these symptoms, we take NyQuil and we take Tylenol and we take all these things to mute the symptoms. You're supposed to listen to those symptoms. You're supposed to listen. But before we get into this, before we get deeper into this and unpack it a little bit deeper, make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you can be notified of all our future upcoming videos. We're gonna have a mix of all different things, guys. We're gonna have personal development, leadership development, team cohesion, and it's all centered around holistic health. Because if you don't have synergy in your body, if you don't have synergy at the cellular level that comes from eating real food, exercising, managing your mental emotional state, getting good introspection and rest, if you guys aren't doing that, then you're only going to be so useful in your role as a father or a mother, in your role as a leader of an organization or a team member of an organization, or if you're an athlete, it's the same thing. You're part of a team. We're all part of a team, and the team is only as successful as the individuals. That's why we do what we do. That's why this channel exists. That's why Peak Synergy exists. It's because of that concept. And it comes from my years of corporate life, where I just saw just how disgusting our approach to dealing with business, dealing with people, dealing with customers. It's just all fake. It's all facade, just like the world we live in. Now, this isn't gonna be some deep dive into the Matrix or anything like that, but just like RFK and Trump talked about, guys, if you're not familiar with this, the chemical additives that they were talking about, the toxins in the food, the poisons in the food, the autoimmune issues, the obesity epidemic, the mental emotional problems that teenagers are facing, the early onset puberty, all this stuff, if you're not familiar with it or you just think it's normal, this isn't normal. This isn't how humans are supposed to be. This isn't how they've evolved. So how did we get here? Well, a number of things. Obviously, when we're so focused on money and we're so focused on earnings, which obviously financial abundance and having a good, comfortable nest egg and a nice legacy to leave your family, there's nothing wrong with that. But if we're not tying that into spiritual pursuits, if we're not tying that into us just manifesting our best self, in other words, if we're chasing numbers and we're chasing status and we're chasing dollars because we feel it's going to make us feel better, then that's when we get sideways. That's when we get twisted. So it starts there. It's what some call like the slave system of the Matrix. I said I wasn't going to dive into that. Okay, that's last time. I'm not going to bring it up again. But it starts with this slave system, and we're in this system. We see our parents go through it. We see our uncles go through it. We see our friends go through it. And let's face it, people are miserable, guys. People are miserable. And it's because what we do is we eat, sleep, and work. That's what we do. And we're usually not sleeping very well. We're usually eating crappy food, and we're in a job we don't like. So we live for vacations. We live for Saturday and Sunday. We live for our retirement account. We live for something later that's promised. But the sad reality is that by the time we get to our weekends, we're too tired to really enjoy it. And because we're so immersed in work, we don't have a lot of things that really bring us joy in our lives. So we're not doing a lot with our weekends, and our vacations are the same thing. We're too tired to enjoy our vacation, or we go on vacation, we don't really treat ourselves very well. We're drinking a lot of alcohol, we're eating a lot of crappy food, we're staying out late, we're doing all these things. And again, this isn't judgment. Like, we all gotta have fun, we all gotta live life, but this is why we're so miserable. And we're doing this, we're sacrificing this because there's this implicit and explicit, actually, belief that later on down in life, we're gonna experience the golden years, and we're gonna finally be able to travel, finally be able to relax and unwind. And some people get to do that, but for most people, guys, we end up retiring, and we spend our retirement money on surgeries, therapy appointments, doctor appointments, labs, tests. We're generally on a protocol of medicine, and I can't get too in depth into the whole disease dynamic of being on numerous prescriptions because of YouTube's community guidelines. But I can tell you this: if you take a look at your symptoms that you're currently experiencing, and then you backtrack your prescription drugs and you take a look at their side effects, you might find a connection there. But anyway, we end up on a lot of prescription drugs, we end up having a lot of surgeries, we end up having a lot of visits to therapists and different practitioners and whatnot, and we end up actually not enjoying our life, not enjoying the free time that we have. So that's a typical American dream. What else gets us there? Well, we don't really have an understanding of what health is. We don't know what healthy means. Because so many of us are overweight, so many of us are obese, and we've gotten to such a sideways state of health. Sorry, just a shot. We don't really know what we're doing. We don't know what we're doing. And that's a lot by design. We're confused by the food industry, we're confused by the medical industry. And one can say that that's by design, or one can say that that's, just a coincidence. But at the end of the day, you judge a tree by the fruit that it bears. And so we don't know much about food. Basically, our understanding of what healthy diet is boils down to like eating less calories than you burn. And it's all about weight loss. It's all about weight, reflecting your health with your weight. So we don't understand food. We understand the importance of exercise, but we actually think that, I'm too busy is an excuse not to. And so that's the culture. It's really enculturated within us. The truth of the matter is that health is one of the most simple things, one of the most simple opportunities that we have as people to make everybody better, make the entire human race better. If you have a team full of healthy individuals, they're going to be more clear-minded, they're going to have better memories, they're going to have more motivation, they're going to have a higher sense of purpose. All of those things are what's included with a healthy person in general. So, not to judge anybody that isn't, but that's what you get when you get somebody that puts their health on the top of their priority list. So imagine if we had billions of people walking around like that instead of what we've got now. On top of that, this brings me to the last one, which I got to be very careful about, because I'm not here to offend anybody, I'm not here to insult anybody, and I'm certainly not here to insinuate that any individual has any particular motive in doing what they're doing. So I just want to start off with that. But the truth of the matter is that our system of healthcare, our system of food distribution and food cultivation is entirely for profit. No, I don't have anything against capitalism. Big fan of it, actually. But when profits and the interests of the shareholders come before your health, then we've just got to be open and honest and admit that that's what we're dealing with. So all too often when we go to a doctor or we go to a medical treatment facility, we are under the impression that this is like an altruistic endeavor. You know, it's all about my health, it's all about my well-being. That's not so much the case, you guys. I've seen it over and over again in my work as a holistic health practitioner and kinesiology, and you know, mental coaching, all that. I've seen it over and over again where these people are going to your standard caretaker for this particular field, and while they're getting treatment and the treatment makes it better, it's not the best treatment for them. It's not the best. A great example would be someone who gets like a fusion in their neck or in their lumbar spine, when, yeah, theoretically a fusion could be a probable solution, or at least a probable course of treatment to make one feel better. The truth of the matter is that many of those disc cases with the back or the neck, or the lumbar or the cervical spine, many of those issues can be remedied with proper breathing techniques, with improving your posture, with strengthening your kinetic chain. And while you do that, you actually gain more awareness of your body. So a surgeon would say, look, this is the best course of action for you, but that's what the surgeon knows on how to correct that. So he's not really lying, or she's not really lying. That's just what they know is best. And at the end of the day, it's in their best interest to sell you a surgery. Financially, for the hospital, for the shareholders, for everybody, it's in their best interest on that end to recommend something else for you. And this might be a surprise to you. Some of you might get outright pissed off at hearing something like this, but I can tell you over and over and over again, I've seen it with autoimmunity, I've seen it with diabetes, I've seen it with disc herniations and disc bulges, I've seen it with knees that they were told that they were going to need surgery. I've seen psychological issues that were undiagnosed. You know, things like dissociative movement disorder is a really prominent example that I can think of. And so while I don't do any medical diagnosing, I don't treat anything specific, I coach people that have these ailments. It's amazing how many things clear up when you just get back to the basics of proper mindset management, mental emotional management. You're getting good sleep and introspection, you're getting proper movement, and you're eating real species specific food.
If President Trump is elected and honors his word, the vast burden of chronic disease that now demoralizes and bankrupts the country will disappear. This is a spiritual journey for me. I reached my decision through deep prayer, through hard-nosed logic, and I asked myself, what choices must I make to maximize my chances to save America's children and restore national health? I felt that if I refused this opportunity, I would not be able to look myself in the mirror, knowing that I could have saved lives of countless children and reversed this country's chronic disease epidemic.
So all this started, guys, back in like the early 1900s. Up until then, the common approach in medical was to utilize a more holistic approach, get involved in people's personal lives, find out how much stress they're under, see what things they can do to reduce their stress load. But in 1910, there was something that happened, and it's called the Flexner Report. You can look it up, the Flexner Report of 1910, F-L-E-X-N-E-R. And this was funded in part by the Rockefeller Foundation. And the whole purpose of the Flexner Report, for all intents and purposes, was to go around and standardize medical care. And just like any hierarchical system or any authoritative system, it sounds good on paper. But the problem is you've got people and their prejudices and financial interests involved, which was the case in this. And I'm just here telling you my opinion and my observation of what happened. You can look into it and form your own conclusion. But based on what I see with the results of the Flexner Act, the Flexner thing, Flexner Report, and the state of health in the world and in our country, the United States right now, when I combine that with what I see in clinical practice, it is absolutely criminal what's going on. It's absolutely criminal what's happening. So the Flexner Report, Flexner, I think it was John Flexner, was hired to go around to all these various medical clinics throughout the country, and he was tasked with deeming them like gold, silver, or failing status. And so basically gold status was your clinic or your medical facility received a gold status nod if you were operating under more or less the biomedical model of care. Your system got a silver if you were deemed redeemable. In other words, you weren't fully in the biomedical model of care, but you were on board, you were buying the narrative, and you showed potential for a gold standard clinic or medical facility. Now, if you failed, chances are you were a holistic-minded practitioner and you weren't willing to change. So that's basically where this started. So we went from treating people with diseases and ailments and conditions to treating diseases. So that's where we went from patient first to surgery first, drug first, and it just so happens that, you know, the Rockefellers, you know, owned Standard Oil, and there was a petroleum-based product that got coated on the pills. So, you know, take that information and do what you want with it. Ever since then, once we stopped treating people and started treating disease, things just got backwards. Things just got sideways, guys. The irony is wherever your symptoms manifesting, whether it be a symptom in the gut, a symptom in the back, a symptom in the neck, shoulder, in your mind, it never originates from where the source of origination is never where the pain is manifesting. So that is just the weakest link in the entire chain. So, and this goes up and down the chain for everything: mental disorders, like I said, digestive disorders, pain in the body. All of this, for the lion's share, 95+% of the cases are from an other source, other etiology than where the actual symptoms are manifesting. So, just on paper, you can see easily why these approaches fail. Why these approaches fail. You can't just keep attacking the source of the pain without tracing it back to where it started. So a common example would be like autoimmunity. Autoimmunity is classified in all these different classifications. You got, you know, arthritis is type 1. You got asthma, you've got Hashimoto's, you've got IBS, you got IBD, Crohn's, lupus, then you got myelinic disorders like MS and Lou Gehrig's disease, ALS. So you got all these different things, cancer even, that are classified under autoimmunity, but they are given different diagnoses, which I guess on one level is really appropriate. But if you take a look at it as like, look, it's just the body attacking itself, and the body's attacking itself in the ways that you create the most weakness. So if I have, and in this particular example, you can reference the work of Dr. Gabor Mate and in his book, The Body Says No, and I believe he also references this in The Myth of Normal. But he talks about like myelinic disorders go along with certain personality traits. Like, for instance, ALS tends to manifest in people that are maybe overly agreeable, more nice than they would be authentically. So that means they're suppressing a lot of emotions and feelings or authenticity. So that type of person might manifest their autoimmunity, their body attacking itself in that form. While someone else might manifest like a digestive disorder because they have a different personality. And I know that sounds crazy, that sounds kooky, but it's no more kooky than saying take a poison when your body is already overly toxic, which is what a medication is. Even if it's a medicine that has a specified result, you're still adding a toxin to your body with the implication or the implicit belief or an implicit agreement that the side effects or the negative effects I'm going to experience from this medication are going to be worth it compared to the benefit that I'm going to incur. We don't go through that realm of processing, and most of us don't even have that opportunity to go through that realm of processing when we're considering taking a medication. So we went from treating people to treating diseases, and obviously it's not working. Just take a look around. It is not working. How many ailments are you going through right now? Whether it be energy, whether it be lack of mental clarity, whether it be like acid reflux or hyperelimination, colon problem, whatever. How many of those do you really honestly, if you go into your heart, and you don't have to have a medical degree, you don't have to have any medical experience whatsoever, just use your common sense, use your heart and your soul, and use your intellect that God gave you, and ask yourself, how many of these would be better if I were to change my diet, change my lifestyle, and learn how to manage my stress better. You don't need a prescription for that. But here's the sick irony, is because we've been led to believe that normalcy is work your ass off, don't pay attention to anything that would be good for you, or any personal care or self-care items or considerations or anything like that. And when you feel sick, take a pill. When you're in pain, take a pill. And just keep pressing, keep grinding, keep working, because you'll get a vacation here in 4 or 5 months. That normalcy, that environment, that culture enables us to keep pushing past symptoms until it gets into a slight disease state, keep pushing, keep pushing, keep pushing, because there's implicit and explicit knowledge that when it gets bad, I can go to a doctor and they can give me something for this. So that's what we call outsourcing our health, outsourcing our thinking. Guys, we're adults. We're adults. Adults think for themselves. And a doctor is just going to be a doctor. A doctor is going to probably operate on the assumption that even if they were to tell you to change your lifestyle, you're not going to do it. And that's how we get here. That's how we get here. So let's own our situation. Let's grow up and be adults. Let's do the things that we need to do. And this right here with Trump and RFK Jr., this is huge. This is huge. Never seen a politician say the quiet part out loud. This is the type of stuff where they need to really bump up their security for saying this, because they're going after pharma, they're going after the medical industry, they're going after the food industry. And these guys are working in cahoots to keep us sick. And whether it be by intention or by omission, they're not telling you the truth. They're not telling you the truth. Any food manufacturer, any true health authority is going to tell you the truth about disease and the food that you're eating and the amount of exercise that you're not getting and how you're actually creating disease for that. Exercise outcompetes antidepressants in studies all the time. Exercise is the #1 antidepressant. Food is the medicine. Let food be the medicine and the medicine be thy food. All right? That is all true. It's not just cliche. It's not all just anecdote. It's not bullshit. Because it's the lack of movement that creates the disease. It's the eating the crappy food that creates the disease. It's the inability to manage our stress and our mental and emotional state that creates those diseases. And we do all of those because we are pursuing something other than health, something other than manifesting our best self, something other than actualizing ourselves. And again, that's not pie in the sky, John Maxwell BS. We are rigged, we are designed, we are programmed in our hardware to be our best. We are programmed to do the right thing. And that's where a lot of our misery comes from, is because we don't create a dream. We don't give ourselves the permission to create a dream. We don't believe that we can achieve our dreams. And that right there is going against our soul. It's going against our highest self. It's going against our best self that is always pushing and pulling us to be our best. Rant over. I get passionate about this stuff. But guys, I'm really excited about this. I've never seen a politician talk about this. And I don't, let's not get lost in the weeds here. Like if you're not a fan of either one of these guys, please don't lose the message in that. The fact of the matter is we got politicians saying the quiet part out loud. We got politicians standing up there and saying, look, here's the problem, here's who's causing it, and here's who we're going after. And here's how we're gonna do it. That's what we need. This is what we need. This is why Peak Synergy exists. This is why we created this new model of going into organizations, giving them health workshops, doing leadership development, teaching them how to manage their thoughts, how to manage their emotions, how to do things for others instead of everything being about themselves. And that is the beauty. And that's the beauty of personal care. Taking care of yourself, utilizing these holistic health concepts. It's not so you can be, just feeling amazing while everyone else is falling apart, rotting. No, it's the opposite. It's you can be your best so you can better serve the all. So you can better serve your community, you can better serve your family, you can better serve your organization. That's what this is all about. But we can't have strong and healthy teams. We can't have healthy teams. We can't have healthy families, organizations, groups, units. We can't have that if all the individuals are sick. You cannot be healthy if your cells are sick. It goes all the way down to the most quantum level in your body that determines how healthy and happy and energized that you are. That's why we're doing this. All right, guys, that's not bullshit what you just saw. That's where the truth lies. That's where the truth lies. Stop dumping your money into prescriptions and over-the-counter drugs. Stop dumping your money into exercise classes that aren't getting where you want to go. Stop dumping your money into therapies that aren't working for you. Trust your head, trust your heart, trust your gut, trust your soul, trust it all. Trust it all, and go where you know you can find the help and the healing. And if you don't know where that is, we're happy to help you. Jerry, Peak Synergy, if you have a group or an organization or a family or anybody that's interested and you want to get a piece of holistic health, if you want to get a piece of the action, get a hold of us. We're dying to do this. Guys, I used to make six figures. Nowadays, that's nothing, but I used to make six figures in a management career. I was a retail manager. I did it for 20 years, and I just saw corporate toxicity piled on top of corporate toxicity on top of corporate toxicity. I saw the effects of not giving a shit about people's health. And when I started learning about this and I started studying and getting certified and coaching people, I was able to share that with my store. I was able to share that with my staff, and nothing but good comes out of that. Nothing but good comes out of that. And ironically, the toxic leadership in my organization didn't like it. They inferred all kinds of things into it that didn't actually exist. They totally ignored the record profits, the record performance, and the record productivity. They ignored all that. So don't be one of these blind people. Don't be one of these people that just follows the pack. The pack is heading off a cliff. The pack is fat, sick, miserable, full of disease, or they're on their way to disease, okay? Now's the time to be different. Now's the time to think different. Now's the time to do different and stand out in the crowd, because you never know who's watching. You never know who's watching. All right, Flexner Report, look into that. Take a deep look into that. We've got this system where we're always chasing dollars, but we don't know why we're chasing the dollars. And if we get down to it, it's because we want relief later. Get your relief now. Learn to breathe. Learn your breath work. Get meditation in. Do you pray? Do you pray regularly? And what kind of prayer sessions do you have? Are you not sure who to pray to or what to pray to? These are all things that are very important for you to manifest your best self, for you to feel your very best. Are you getting adequate sleep? Do you make time to introspect about your day and your behaviors and your shadows and the way you interact with people? I know it sounds like a lot, especially if you're not doing any of it, but I can guarantee you all this stuff you're already eating and planning your meals, so that's no extra time. Your workout, you can get a pretty darn good workout in 20, 30 minutes, especially if you're not working out at all. Okay, so there's a half hour of your day. Your introspection time, meditation, whatever you want to call that, another half hour. You're looking like an hour of your day that you can set aside to take care of yourself. And if you can't do it for you, do it for your family. Do it for your organization. Do it so you can get promoted and make more money. But that extra responsibility and that extra stress doesn't kill you and it'll age you rapidly. Do it for the people that count on you and rely on you, because you never know who's watching. You never know whose life you can change just by being you. But you can't do that without peak synergy in your thoughts, peak synergy in your body, your physiology, and peak synergy in how you interact with the people that are important in your world. But I know you got an hour a day. I know you got 2 hours a day, even if you think you don't. If you're not ready to take action to be your best self, ask yourself why. And ask yourself what the perfect amount of time is for you to wait to become your best self. Again, this is no judgment. These are just questions we don't ask ourselves. If that doesn't work, picture yourself on your deathbed. What's it gonna look like on your deathbed? Who's there? What do you look like? What were the last 10 years of your life like? Who's watching? It's young. It's in a younger generation that's gonna inherit your genetics and inherit some of your lifestyle habits, inherit a lot of your worldview. Who's there watching and what are they saying about this? Obviously, they're sad that you're going. But are they saying, boy, grandma or grandpa lived so well. I want to be just like them. They were always happy. They always had a lot of energy. Or are they going to say something like, you know, I wish grandma and grandpa would have taken care of themselves so we could have been around them longer. And, you know, it's been a while since grandma or grandpa was able to go for a walk with us or to play with the grandkids or to enjoy something with us. She always seems so miserable, or he always seems so miserable. This sounds crazy and it might sound a little creepy to you, but these are the things that we have to consider to change. And we finally got somebody on the public stage who's saying the quiet part out loud. This is a special moment. This is huge. This is big. And I hope you realize how big it is. And I hope you don't just blow it away as rhetoric or propaganda or anything like that. It might be both. It might be rhetoric and propaganda. But they did say the quiet part out loud, and it is the truth. All right, guys, if you're interested in any of this type of stuff, go to our website, thepeaksynergy.com. You can sign up to be in our community. You can sign up for workshops. You can sign up for presentations or public speaking. You can enroll in a corporate wellness program. You can enroll in a leadership development program. You can enroll in all of it. We've got it for you. But I'm gonna tell you this right now, this isn't something that you're gonna sign up for just so you can have insurance premiums written off or anything like that. This is something that only people that are leaders in organizations or leaders of families or teams that are genuinely concerned about their people getting the best out of life, that are genuinely concerned about people experiencing high levels of wellness. And the side effect of that is going to be better productivity, more employee loyalty, less sick days, less disability claims, and more team cohesion. So I don't know if you've got the type of organization that could benefit from something like that. We'd love to hear from you. But until next time, guys, thanks for watching this video. I hope you got something out of it. I hope you're inspired. I hope you're motivated and excited like I am, because this is a big deal. This is a big thing. I believe RFK. If we can get things changed in 2 years, honestly, guys, you will see shit you will not believe. You will not believe. Okay. All right, guys. If you found value, please share this video. Please leave a comment down below. Helps the algorithm get this channel pushed out. It's just getting started. And of course, hit that subscribe button and notification bell. All right, guys. Feel free to reach out to me direct anytime you want. You got my email. It's in my description. So anytime, I'm here for you. All right, guys. Peace, much love, and live well.